Hi, Coach, how are you?
I'm doing good, brother. How you doing?
Doing all right.
Good.
So, Coach Gus the other night, came back. He said he thought that was the best defensive performance of the season. After you looked at everything and reviewed the film, what did you think of the defense's performance against Memphis?
Yes, I thought it was the best performance. I thought it was the first time we put a full game together. Just so proud of the guys and their guts to come out, and very, very proud of the effort and the tackling. That's one of the things that stood out more than anything. And again, just like I told him, we got to continue to get better and continue to saw at wood. And we have 5 games left. We'll take it one game at a time and one practice at a time, and continue to get better.
So I know you guys probably are preparing for the freshman quarterback that put up a lot of numbers this year. I guess with a game time decision from those guys, and he didn't start. So what happens when you're the D coordinator? When did you find out? Do you scramble? Do you change anything? Do you communicate to the guys below? Like, what's that process like when maybe you're preparing for one guy and you see another?
Yeah, so we heard about it like right before we went out for kickoff. So it was just, we did a whole bunch of, okay, if they come out with this, we'll do that. Just kind of getting the guys prepared. But for the most part, we stayed with the same game plan. Their offense is their offense. Now it was a running quarterback, so we had to get ready for that and do some different things to tweak that part of it. But once we found out, we just kept the game plan the same and just make sure we try our best to bottle up the quarterback.
How good was it to have Ricky Barres? He's getting closer to 100%. Obviously, didn't have him for a few games. He tried to go at Cincinnati, couldn't go very long, but he played a lot more reps in this game, especially with KD now being out. How good is it to have Ricky back?
Oh man, it's great to have Ricky back. You can just tell his presence is just different. He's great against the run, great against the pass, and he was doing really, really well before he got injured. With him and KD out there together, it was a dynamic duo. But it's great to have him back out there, and it's great to see guys like Keenan step up, and Montavo step up, and Cam step up. So we have enough guys up front, and we're leaning on those guys, and we trust those guys. But it's definitely great to have Ricky back.
You mentioned that. I mean, obviously KD, one of the best D tackles really in the nation. Ricky's a promising young guy too, but you don't have those guys. But you mentioned those other guys. Those guys that held their own. To Cam Good, Monty, and those guys. Keenan Hester. I mean, talk more about those guys. How they really stepped up because they had to.
Just proud of their performance, their effort, just getting to the ball and shedding blocks and being just firm on the run, just taking that next step. All 3 of those guys did well for us. And Keenan is a guy that we've been leaning on. We think that he has a really good, promising future. And Montavo does a great job. He'll play in for us. He'll play 3 technique. He'll play shade. He's a guy that has a really good skill set. And Cam is just so hard to block him because he's so slippery. So we do some different things when he's in the game to help his skill set out. So those are 3 different people, and they're 3 different guys that actually add some things to our defense. So very proud of those guys and their progress. And it's just hats off to Coach Martin, where he coaches those guys and just having prepared for a game, so that group right there we like to lean on.
Do you think that was the best game maybe for Big Cat since he's been here at UCF? I think he was something like 11 pressures. I think he had 2 sacks, 11 total pressures. And he impacted the plays a lot.
Yes, that was his best game. Probably one of his best games in his career. And it's just he was, and I talked to him and I challenged every individual guy that stepped foot on the field. And one of his deals, I said, it's time for you to take over a game. We know you can do it. It's that time. And he took that challenge, and it was a very good game for him. Just proud of his progress. And I know it's so frustrating at times. You get so close to the quarterback and, don't get him down. And it was times that last week or 2 days ago, he was able to get him down and getting the pressures. And if you watch number 1 on the field, a lot of people look at the sacks and different things like that. Check out his effort, the way he gets to the ball, the way people just feed off of his effort and the extra effort that he puts out there. That's the thing I'm most proud of with him, because he's not afraid to just run to the ball like his life depended on it. And people watch him and follow him and say, okay, that's the way it's done. So I'm very proud of him.
How would you kind of assess your linebacking spot after the first 7 games? I mean, Tatum was out for a couple games. He came back and had a good game against ECU and everything. And Bryson's playing more there now. How would you kind of assess that group now?
Just some warriors, all those guys, and they like to be around each other. They just a fun group to coach for one, and they like each other. And they push each other, and it's like just friendly competition. And just rotating those guys the way we're rotating them, keeping them fresh. Because they're just like D linemen. They get tired, you're not getting them back to the next game. So you have to keep them fresh. But I just like the way they go about their business. Coming to work every day. Don't complain like Tatum. You don't hear a peep out of him. He doesn't complain at all. You'll see him get all the special team reps at practice. He don't complain. He come play defense. Jeremiah the same way. Don't complain. And Bryson, you don't even know he's in the room. So those guys just come to work, bring their lunch pail every day, and those are the type of guys I like to be around. And not entitled, just they want to do the best thing they can, for the defense. So very proud of those guys' progress. I really like being around them because they want to be good. They want the defense to be good. They want their brothers to be successful. So, just having that type of group, it's fun to go to work and come in and coach those guys.
One thing Coach Gus has been saying the last couple of weeks, you guys kind of simplify things in terms of who's playing where on defense. Not, I think DeBob was moving around, Bryce was moving around, you kind of stuck to a spot. You got a full-time night now with Justin Hodges, it looks like. How much does that help, just having guys just knowing exactly where they got to be every play and not having to maybe move around during the game?
Yes, it makes a big difference because, at the beginning of the season, Justin was hurt, and we was trying to just hold that spot down until he got back. We know he has a really good skill set, and this is just his third game. So he's still learning, but his skill set, he has a really, really good talent, and the sky's the limit for him. But we know once we got him back, it really made us a lot better on defense, and a couple guys was banged up here and there, and so just putting the guys in the right seat is always good, and that's what we at now. Just putting the guys there and say, okay, you learn this position. Even with having Devod doing some night and just having them do too much is not good for anybody. So having them at one position is always good.
More about Justin. What do you like about Justin Hodges and kind of what he brings? I think the first 3 or 4 games when he didn't play. I know he was here last year, he got a little bit of playing time, but now I think he was on the field pretty much every snap this past game at night nickel. So what do you like about him? What does he bring to the
dog.
table?
Can't have enough of him. I want a room full of him that just loves ball. When I say dog, he loves ball. He's not scared. The stage isn't big. And I challenged him. I just told him that the game before that wasn't your best performance. I expect you to play better, and you expect yourself to play better. And he goes out there and have one of his best games. But that's one thing, man, you can't coach his dog, man. That means you want a room full of guys like that love football. And, so he's still learning on the job, and he was out, and, but he's going to be a good player.
What did you think about the corner position the other night? I know maybe it's a different quarterback. They had a really talented receiver that was pretty much held in check. The Corey was out there, Devontae, Brendan Adams playing a lot. What do you like about that spot?
Just starting with Devontae Brown, he doesn't get a lot of looks as far as people throwing his way, but he's been very solid all season. And he finally had a chance to kind of show down. He dropped the pick, and I was joking with him earlier today, but he's a guy that he can control that island. He's a real corner. He's a real corner, and a lot of people don't see him because he doesn't get a lot of action. He's another quiet guy. Doesn't say much, but goes about his business, and just very proud of the way his season is going, the way his preparation is going throughout the season. I really like the way he goes about his business, and we got a freshman out there in BJ, and he's a guy that was a former quarterback, so he's learning on the job, and he has a lot of length, and he's another one that's not scared. He's a dog, and you got Thornton that's long, and he's learning. He was a former wide receiver, and and football is important to him. Every time you walk in the weight room, he's in there, and it's just fun coaching those type of guys that love ball and have that edge about them. And you can't be dull. Dull knives, they don't cut. You got to have some edge about you, and all of those guys have a little edge about them.
When did Brendan Adams kind of make his move, BJ, as you call him? I know when we talk to players in August in preseason camp and say, what about the young guys? Who's looking good out there? And the veterans would come in here, they'd say, Brendan Adams. We heard that multiple times. So obviously he was impressed with those guys. He's impressed enough to see playing time, and we started the last couple of games. What did he kind of do to kind of make his move that caught your eye?
Never complain, and he plays a physical brand of football when he's on that island, and again, he loves football. I keep going back to he has dog in him. You want to be around guys that care, that don't, won't flinch, not scared. Even though he's a freshman, he's not scared of anything. I think that's just that Atlanta in him. He always talks about he's from Atlanta, but again, he has that moxie about him. He was a former quarterback. And Pop Warner, I was talking to him because we was doing team bonding this summer. He used to be a linebacker in the defensive end, so I guess that's where that toughness comes out. And but he's a guy that has a bright future. He's got to continue to listen to Coach Addison and Coach Gibbs, and he'll be fine. All of those guys, but I really like the way they come about their business, come to work.
What do you see from that safety spot? I know Quadribillo's been there. I know two guys they kind of going like a heat-seeking missile. Now, Dylan Lesser looks a lot improved. He had win those interceptions the other night. What do you kind of see from that spot?
Oh, that whole group is growing, and just hats off to Coach Gibbs, the way he coaches those guys. And, Leslie got a second interception in the same corner in the end zone that he got in the first game. And Devad is doing really well on the back end. The communication between him and 37, him and Bullet are great. Bullet is, if he's 155 pounds, that'd be soaking wet. But he hits you like he's 210. He's a guy like, the guys on the team respect him because whatever he weighs, he's going to put it all in you. When he's hitting the ball carrier. He's a guy that just like a little firecracker that kind of lights everyone up, and really like his progress. So those guys, again, you got Quadric Bullet that didn't really play last year, was more special teams, and he's just starting safety, and the stage isn't too big for him, and he's just growing, throughout the season. He has 6 or 7 games under his belt now, and just very, very proud of his progress.
How exciting is it when you get interceptions the way you did the other night? Especially, it was kind of crazy. We're bouncing off of guys and in the air, and this, guys know, tip drill and all that stuff. So how exciting was that just to kind of impact the game in that way?
Yes, anytime you can create turnovers is good. It just gives the whole team a spark, and especially as a defense, you want to try to get the main thing at the end of the day is all about the ball. The ball. Anytime you can get that ball is always good, and it just gives your whole team that energy.
You guys got to go back on the road this week, go to Temple. I know they just had a tough loss at USF the other night. And it was a little early in the week, but what do you kind of know about that offense? What are you getting ready for?
Quarterback is good. Quarterback is a quarterback that's transferred from Georgia. They got a lot of transfers on their offense. We just have to go out there. We have to just continue to play our brand of football. And going on the road is always a hostile environment going on the road. But it's all about preparation. They do some different things on offense. That they have some wrinkles that you have to be very sound and you have to know what you're doing in order to stop it. They do a really good job trying to keep you off balance. Hats off to their coaches and their players, and I know for a fact they'll be ready to play come Saturday.
I'm not saying obviously you're focused on the season going on, but recruiting is always a year-round deal. I know you guys got some big news offensively. I know you can't talk about specific names, but just generally, how's recruiting going? You had the Big 12 announcement a month or so ago. How's everything going recruiting-wise as you kind of head to your slaying your first class?
Recruiting is going great. We got to continue. That's the lifeblood of any program is to recruit, and you can't take days off. And an atmosphere like this past Friday is always good with recruiting, even though it was a Friday and a lot of the guys were playing. But just for them to see an atmosphere either on TV or highlights or whatever. But recruiting, it's a lifeblood. It is. You can't kid yourself. You got to recruit. You have to recruit, and that keeps everything afloat. So it's going good. We got to just stay steady at it, and got to focus on Temple, and you got to also focus on recruiting. But that's part of the job, and that's what we got to do.
One more thing, I know the guys always talk about the space uniforms you guys wear there. As a coach, how do you like that stuff? Different looks. I know you probably learned a little bit about the space game history the last few years. How did you like that look?
Oh, I like it. I thought, I thought it had a little swag to it. The kids will say drip. They got a little drip to it, and I thought the space uniforms were awesome. I really did. Just the detail. I'm a detailed person. For them, the details that they put into the jersey and the time, and just taking pride in your work. So whoever did it, and they took a lot of pride in it, and the names that are on it, and all of that good stuff. And I like the white on white color. It was awesome. I really did. I thought it was cool.